Hi everyone, thanks for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and start my reading of one of the blog posts that I wrote during the 8 years that my husband was sick with cancer. I don't know what the date was on this. I kind of just picked it and read the first couple of sentences and thought, okay, here we go. So I'm gonna start reading and we'll see what happens. Okay, thanks again. All right, here we go. I've learned a lot about myself since my husband's cancer fight began. Okay, I have to stop already. I think it's amusing how I'm like smiling and being upbeat about it, but I just want to remind you and myself I haven't done this before, so I don't know what my energy is supposed to be like. And okay, so let's just go with it. I had a friend once who sang in a band, and she was great, and she always had a smile on her face and was enthusiastic about engaging with her audience. But one time she was singing Possum Kingdom by the Toadies. It's kind of a dark themed song, but she just had the smile on her face the whole time. So that's kind of what I'm reminded of here as I'm smiling so big and talking about my husband's fight with cancer. All right, but we're in this together, so let's proceed. Okay, I guess maybe I'll restart since it was only one sentence. I've learned a lot about myself since my husband's cancer fight began. It's remarkable, really. There are so many nuances to what we deal with, so many triggers, and emotions that go along with them. I've learned to recognize these different behaviors as they rise according to each issue we're faced with. Maybe it's time in the hospital or in the cancer center, or maybe a symptom that he's experiencing or not. In these most recent weeks, it was waiting for his MRI results. We've never had 2 good scans in a row before. I grow so fearful that the tumors have come back and that he will die from them, that I do the opposite of what it seems that I should do. Okay, well, in real time, I'm going to stop right there. Already, I think, what if he dies from them? That's all. And he did. Okay, let's see here. That it seems the opposite of what I should do. I pull away. I pull away because if the news is dire, as I've learned to expect it to be, then I'll have distanced myself enough so that maybe the pain won't be as bad, knowing of course that that's impossible. But in the shoes of a caregiver, wife, and mother of 2, who out of desperation to keep her family above and self-preservation to keep her head attached, this makes sense. There we are. Oh. So I recognize what's happening as well as when and why it happens. And so does Chris. And as we flail about in our marriage, as I deal with all the fears and worst case scenarios, we somehow make it through to the other side. I'm not proud of what it does to me. I hate the impact that it has on us. I do think I'm making progress, believe it or not, and perhaps us recognizing it is actually said progress, as we are learning in small ways how to handle it better. So today we are in uncharted waters as we now have 2 clean MRI scans in a row to file away. And while I can't easily remember the beginnings of our appointment yesterday, as I'm pretty sure I disassociated when the oncologist walked into the room asking how our summer was going, you see, I cannot deal with the pleasantries when I know that what comes next out of his mouth are Chris's results. We don't cheer anymore when we get a good result. We kind of just look at one another, take each other's hand, exhale, and mark another day in the books. that one as a victory. And now I think my husband is noticing, as am I, that my embraces are becoming freer and my smiles less restrained, and my willingness to be present is greater and with more ease, because at this moment, on this day, things are safe. Okay, so it's funny that I should start with this one because this is really real. I really remember these things happening, like just the effect it had on my marriage and the way that we were just tiptoeing around all the time because we just didn't know what was coming. And safety was such a big thing. We felt like we couldn't get too comfortable because the rug was always about to be pulled out from under us. But shall we proceed? Let's see where we were. On this day, things are safe. I have to be careful, though, not to give in too much, because the safety can the safety can fall away as quickly as it arrives if he gets sick again. I can't let my guard down. If I do, something bad will happen. I'm still like that right now in my life, you guys, for real. It's an ongoing battle. But the takeaway is that no matter how alone I feel when the times are hard, because my husband is an eternal optimist, me, not as much. So I will comment on that too. It was really hard because, I don't know, while he was always so positive and optimistic, I was always so afraid, and rightfully so. I think that he was too. But I think that he was, just trying to protect me and the kids. Himself probably too. Here we go, more. I know Chris has grace for me, and he also has patience. Things I never want to take for granted, but might. We have weathered and fought and stumbled, and I know now that our history, our 23 years together, our love is glue. I'm sharing it all with you, by the way, because what if our story, or any part of its hopes or no hope, or triumphs or not, touches or helps somebody else? Well, look at me all these years later doing that, trying to do that. How do you like that? I desire to keep our stuff close lately, but then I wonder if I'm not supposed to in the grand scheme of things. It was someone else's words that I read yesterday that gave me a nudge and reminded me that my story, our story, isn't over. We might be that one testimony that someone else needs. Well, universe, I see you. And I know that you see me too. I think that's pretty wild that that's the one that I started with. Because here I am today trying to get out there and get our story told and try to remember. And this one was really poignant, I think, and maybe a really good one to start on. I think I always had the fear, but I don't know if it was an inclination. I think it was based on fear that cancer. I was always just so afraid. And I don't know if I thought maybe one day it really would take him. I have other memories about that too. I'm sure that there's blog posts about them, so maybe I don't want to reveal too much here, but I remember the first time that the radiologist said, "You should get your affairs in order." And he lived for 2 more years after that. And those were probably the best 2 years out of the whole 8. I think that's why it became such a surprise that the last time he got sick was fast and furious and took him in the same manner. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. Ask me questions. If you have them, don't hesitate in the comments. I'd love to get like a conversation going or anything like that. So thanks, and bear with me as I'm learning how to do this. I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. So in the meantime, I will fill in the gaps with fun little videos that I make here and there of remembrances of Chris, or the way I saw grief on any given day, or just earlier today his name came up on a portal that I didn't know existed for our neighborhood association. So he's still around, he's popping in. But we'll see you on the next time, everybody. Big, big love. Bye, bye, bye. Hi, so I think what I'm gonna do, I just went back and rewatched that video that I just made, and I think I'm gonna go back now and like take notes on it and actually think about some of the things and develop some more thoughts and memories based around it. So maybe that'll be the format that I decide to do here. So take from the video what you will at this point, and then on the next one you can expect more detailed and in-depth thoughts and memories and perspective, perhaps, as they come. So I'm excited to be doing this with you.